This priest, unaware that a camera was recording him, did something shocking that will leave you speechless. In the quiet town of Hampton, at the small church of St. Margaret, Father Joseph had been serving for more than 7 years. Yet the church members still saw him as the new priest because he came from another part of the country. Father Joseph cherished the small town just as much as his role as the town's minister. When he wasn't in church, he would leisurely walk through the dusty streets, soaking in the sights. One of his favorite spots was the local coffee shop, where he would sip his coffee and watch the townspeople go about their day. Whether it was mothers with their little ones, couples holding hands, or elderly folk chatting away, the scene always brought him a sense of peace and contentment. Father Joseph also spent his time connecting with his parishioners. He visited them in their homes and attended their community events, learned about the town's history, and even offered his help to those in need. But not everyone liked Father Joseph. Some people in the town, and even members of the church, were suspicious of the reverend. The church members who doubted the priest did so because he was from a different part of the country. They felt that he was not sincere and was only pretending to be kind. But what made people most distrustful of Father Joseph was his attitude towards one of the female church members, Melissa Thompson. Melissa was a very pretty single mother who was a consistent member of the church. Melissa's husband had accused her of cheating on him years ago and abandoned her and their 2 little children. Since then, the townspeople had come to see Melissa as an indecent woman. So Melissa had been raising her 2 kids alone while the whole town shunned her. Yet Father Joseph did not care. As the town's priest, he welcomed Melissa back into the church with open arms and treated her very kindly. As a result, Melissa was very grateful. She became very active in the church and was always involved in every church activity. Soon, Father Joseph became a regular visitor at Melissa Thompson's home. He loved spending his free time with her kids, and he was always invited to their house for dinner. The priest would talk about faith, life, and everything in between. Melissa's children, 10-year-old Martha and 7-year-old Johnson, were always happy when he visited. When Father Joseph visited the Thompsons on weekends, he would help them with their difficult chores. He would pray with Martha and talk to Johnson about games. Melissa was grateful for Father Joseph's help, and her children enjoyed his company. The Thompsons' home became a safe place for him to relax and be himself. This started rumors among many church members and townspeople about a relationship between Father Joseph and the young mother. Because of that, many townspeople did not like the priest and suspected him of having an indecent relationship with Melissa. But Father Joseph was not bothered. He enjoyed visiting his church members and the homes of any townspeople that welcomed him. The fact that he spent much more time at Melissa's home was because he felt the most welcome there. Yet something shocking would happen between Father Joseph and Melissa. On one of the weekdays, Melissa decided to head to the church to pray and assist with some church duties. Her kids were at the town's school, and she had the day to herself. So Melissa put her home in order and headed to the church. At the church, she met with Father Joseph, and she spoke and prayed with him for an hour. After Father Joseph left for his personal quarters, Melissa began tidying the church. She enjoyed helping to clean, sweep, and dust the pews along with dressing the altar. But then something happened that made the townspeople angry at the priest. About an hour and a half later, the doors of the church burst open, and some church members trooped in. They were there for choir practice, and what they saw shocked them. Father Joseph was bending over Melissa and was breathing into her mouth. As soon as they saw this, the choir members assumed the worst. They concluded that the priest was harming Melissa, so they began to shout loud accusations at Father Joseph. One of them immediately went to sound the church bell to signal the townspeople what they had witnessed. Father Joseph was very surprised by the choir members' reactions. He explained what happened, but they were not ready to listen to him. They had always been suspicious of the priest's relationship with Melissa, and now seeing Father Joseph bending over an unconscious Melissa had confirmed their suspicions. As the church bell rang loudly, soon the people of Hampton began pouring into the church. The townspeople quickly judged Father Joseph for doing something to Melissa. They didn't trust Father Joseph and were eager to accuse him. They didn't listen to the priest's side of the story and demanded that he be arrested. Father Joseph was devastated by the townspeople's reaction. He had worked hard to win their trust, and now it seemed that all of his efforts had been for nothing. He didn't know what to do and felt like he was all alone. As Melissa was rushed to the hospital, one of the church members, a young boy named Tommy, rushed into the church. As he got to the church, he could see that the townspeople gathered there looked very angry. He saw Father Joseph still trying to explain himself to the angry townspeople, but they refused to listen. Tommy immediately went to the center of the commotion and got everyone's attention. He showed a live recording of the church on his phone to the church members gathered there. The live recording was being streamed on Melissa's social media page. The townspeople were surprised to see themselves in a live recording going on Melissa's social media page. Then they understood that Melissa's phone was still somewhere recording in the church. If they found it, they could verify if what Tommy was saying about Father Joseph's innocence was true. Together, the church members looked around and found her phone almost immediately. Luckily, the live recording was also being saved to the phone, so they could watch it from the start. The recording had captured the events that had led to Father Joseph being accused of wrongdoing. What the priest had done would leave you speechless. The recording showed Father Joseph trying to perform CPR on Melissa while praying at the same time. That was when the choir members came and saw Melissa unconscious with the priest. The footage clearly showed that Father Joseph genuinely cared about Melissa's well-being and had no wrong intentions toward her. After spending an hour and 30 minutes on her tasks, Melissa had brought out her phone to share something that touched her with others on her social media page. The afternoon sun shone through one of the stained glasses above the altar, casting a wonderful glow on the pulpit. It was a sight too beautiful to ignore, so Melissa had placed her camera carefully on the seats to capture the pulpit and pressed the record button to start a live recording. Then she had gone to the altar, but as she was kneeling down to begin praying, she had suddenly clutched her chest before collapsing. Father Joseph, who had been studying in his private quarters, was seen on the video entering the church building and spotting Melissa unconscious on the floor of the altar. The townspeople could see how the priest had rushed to her side, kneeled down, and checked her pulse. He had immediately begun to perform CPR on her, hoping to revive her. Father Joseph had no idea that Melissa's phone was recording everything and showing it live to everyone on social media. The people of Hampton were shocked and disappointed in themselves when they saw the recording. They had been so quick to judge Father Joseph, and now they realized their mistake. The doctor's report that day revealed that Melissa had a serious health condition. Without the priest's timely CPR, Melissa might not have survived. The choir members who had accused Father Joseph apologized and sought his forgiveness. Father Joseph forgave them, explaining that he understood their initial reaction. He hoped this incident would inspire people to give others a second chance rather than clinging to biases and first impressions. The townspeople were grateful to Father Joseph for saving Melissa's life. They recognized his goodness and were glad to have him in their community. They also began to see Melissa in a new light, acknowledging her as a dedicated young mother active in the church. They realized how wrong they had been to judge her based on her ex-husband's unfounded accusations, especially when he had abandoned his 2 children. Father Joseph's story serves as a powerful reminder that we should never judge someone based on another person's past. We should always give people the benefit of the doubt and avoid jumping to conclusions. What do you think of this story of understanding and forgiveness? I'm really keen to know your thoughts, so please don't hesitate to share your insights in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and found it engaging, I invite you to subscribe to our channel for more similar content. Feel free to share this video. Take good care of yourselves, and I'm excited to connect with you in our future videos.